Hello everyone, my name is Warrior Angel and welcome to this 1 year anniversary special. I kind of got the idea for doing this video just before the Christmas break. I went back and I was starting to look at some of the videos I did when I first started this channel, about a year ago roughly. And I couldn't help but notice a difference in the quality. It's sort of like, obviously I've had a year to improve. So I couldn't help but notice that, but also it got me thinking, and I noticed like some of the direction that the channel has taken in compared to how I originally intended it, especially with some of the content. And so I felt like I would like to be able to take the opportunity to chat about it a little bit. And then a couple of days later, after I actually started thinking about it, one of my favorite YouTubers, Voices from the Dark. If you haven't checked him out already, I recommend his channel. He is a very entertaining Let's Player, and he does a lot of other stuff as well. So check him out, is my suggestion. But he then put up a video on his channel celebrating his 5 years on YouTube, and went through each of the years one by one and reflected on it, how he was back then, how the year went for him and that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it myself, even though it's only been a year and not 5. So, what you're going to get from this video is some random gameplay footage of games I've been playing recently in the background, which, if you're interested in what the games are, they are Endless Legend, South Park Stick of Truth, and the Wings of Liberty campaign for StarCraft 2. And how much the fact that I did buy the third one, the Protoss one, that's recently come out a couple months back, I should say, a month or two ago, and I forgot all about what the campaign was, so I had to go back and play Wings of Liberty. So, if you're interested in watching some random gameplay footage while I nostalgically ramble a bit about what's happened in the past year with my channel and that, as well as what I plan to do in the future with the channel, then feel free to skip the video. Honestly, I don't mind. I'm not going to be able to tell anyway. But I'm not going to, there's not going to be anything missing. Your life is not going to be made more complete by listening to this video, I suppose. Yeah, but if you're interested in just getting a bit of a glimpse into my head, so you see things on my side as the sort of content creator for this channel, and how I felt that things have gone, and I hope you stick around and listen and enjoy. So at this point, you've either skipped over the video and gone on to watch something else, or you've decided to stick around and listen, which I'm glad you did. So before I carry on then, I just wanted to do one thank you, which is thank you guys. At the current, when I'm recording this at the moment, I've currently got 281 subscribers, which is phenomenal, considering that when I started this ad, I thought I'll be lucky to maybe get 10 or 20 people. So the fact that I've got, all you guys have felt there was something about my channel which was worth watching, thank you for joining, okay, and thank you for sticking around. It is greatly appreciated, and I'm glad to hear that so many people are enjoying the content of my videos, and yeah, thank you. That's all I can really say, I guess. So, yeah, I wanted to say that first of all, and before I start rambling on. So, I suppose the first bit I wanted to talk about when it comes to rambling is actually something I don't think I've ever brought up yet in any of my Let's Plays when I've been commentating. And that is sort of why I wanted to become a Let's Player, which I feel is something I might want to bring up since it's like a year into this, and I've stuck through it. I kind of got into wanting to do Let's Plays because of two reasons. One of them was because it looked fun. I mean, before I bought my PC, before December 2014, when I sort of officially, I suppose, created this channel, all I had was a normal laptop. It did most jobs I wanted it to do pretty well, considering. I still got it for when I do bits and pieces. And yeah, it did. I was able to play games on it fine. I enjoyed playing, Rome, Medieval 2, and other games in there. But there were a lot of games I had which I couldn't play, but I had a habit of buying them on Steam sales because I've always intended to buy a PC. So, like for example, Rome 2 for the Total War series. I can't play that on my laptop without waiting maybe 10 minutes per turn. Just because once I click somewhere, I have to wait for the army to slowly stutter over there, so to speak. to things. So yeah, I just couldn't play it properly. So I used to watch other YouTubers. For the Total War side, I used to watch a lot of Lionhearts, Alex the Rambler, Warrior of Sparta. Whereas on the non-Total War side, my two favorite ones had got to be XP Gamers and Voices from the Dark. Yeah, them two. And I also watched a lot of Outside Xbox. So yeah, I used to watch them because they looked fun. It looked, those guys really made playing Let's Plays fun to watch and entertaining. So I wanted to give it a go myself. The second one is a little bit more of a guilty secret, but the thing is, one, I think I can trust you guys, and two, I think we all done it at one point or another. And how can I put it? Have you ever had it that you're watching someone else's Let's Play and you're enjoying it, but then they keep making mistakes, stuff that you've noticed, but obviously they haven't. Maybe they're low on health and they've just walked past the health pack. Maybe they've been wandering around the level for 10 minutes, not obviously remembering where to go. And when you've pointed out straight away, oh, you go for that entrance way. Or you've watched them play a strategy game and they're thinking, oh my god, why are you sending your troops over there? Send them over there. Like that, You ever done stuff like that? And just, you either thought it, said it, or even shouted it at the screen at times? I have. No, I don't get gamer's rage. I just simply, no, go over there. That's the health pack. Get there. And yeah, I thought I could do better. I've learned my lesson since I've started this, believe it or not. It is more difficult trying to multitask. You're trying to play a game to the best of your ability and try and provide one in commentary for it. It is difficult, and if you really want to put it out there, I'm a bloke as well. We can't multitask, apparently. Actually, I can multitask better than most of my female friends, but they would never admit it to themselves. Oh well. Anyway, that's all the gender jokes I've got done for today, so don't worry about that, okay? So, yeah, those are the two reasons I kind of got into Let's Playing, because I wanted to, and it looked fun, and I wanted to see if I could do better, which hasn't been the case, unfortunately. At least I don't feel it has. That's because I know what it's like now on the side. So, yeah, in December, I bought myself a gaming PC, in December 2014. Got a bunch of games onto it, was able to play them, like I was actually able to play, Rome 2 for the first time in ages. Yes. And with that then, I decided I was going to start my Let's Play series. So I created the channel in 2014 on December 24th. And the first episode came up then on January 12th, 2015. So it was almost just under 4 years from now, 361 days ago. And that was the Pergamon campaign I got up in my first episode then. So that's going back quite a bit. And yeah, that over the year then, I've constantly letting out videos for the most part. There were one or two times I went a bit crazy. I remember at one point I had 6 series going. I was uploading 2 episodes a day, 6 days a week, when I was at home, which had a crappy internet connection. So I remember it would take about 10 hours for a half-an-hour episode to upload. So imagine, I was never a fan of keeping the computer on. So in order to try and keep up that busy schedule it was taking 20 hours a day, 6 days a week to upload all those videos, and more when it came to doing like hour-long specials. So thankfully, I reduced it down a bit. But so yeah, I really have enjoyed doing this channel over the past year, and I look forward to doing it in the years to come. But this year in particular, it's had a few highlights, and that's what I'm going to chat about for a little bit. Now, for the most part, I will admit there were more to do with the Total War side of things, because that's where most of the games I've played have the sort of things that developed, I feel, on the channel along those lines. But, so yeah, we're just going to go through them. And I'll say highlights, they're not just so things like I felt that the game channel has gone well in that. There was just stuff that I feel entertained like as well. So just with this first one, which was the Total War Attila time, as I like to think of it. What happened is, as you know, I do Total War and non-Total War games, and Total War Attila was coming out in February. I decided I was going to do a campaign. I had the game pre-ordered and everything. And while I was downloading on Steam, ready to be, so I could actually play it, I was having to look for the factions and decided which one I wanted to do. Ooh, excuse me. And I decided I was going to do the Ostrogoths. I thought they were a pretty interesting faction. They were able to give me an opportunity to play with the horde mechanics, and more importantly was the fact that they could use Roman buildings and troops. So I like the idea of having like Roman legionaries holding the line and having, my Germanic Gothic swordsmen, for example, charging through with javelins, So I played it, and I remember I uploaded the first episode, thought nothing much about it, went to bed, and then I woke up the next morning and I had hundreds of people watching it. Now, considering that my videos count at the time on average was anything from maybe 5 to maybe 20, 25, maybe 30, I think, for the 1 million campaign when it started. To all of a sudden wake up after one day and see hundreds of people like watching my video, I was like, what the hell? I found out then a bit later, like a couple of days later, that the reason why it was so popular was because there was only, at the time now, only two YouTubers were actually doing the Ostrogoths. A lot of YouTubers, especially the big ones, like Lionheart and that, were all doing either the Viking factions, the Danes, the Geats, the Jutes, the Romans, the Attila, or either Saxons or Franks, like the settled Germanic barbarian factions. The migrating hordes didn't get much love initially among the big things. So the fact was, I looked it up, there was only like me and two other YouTubers who were doing the Ostrogoths. And now obviously that's changed. If you looked up the Ostrogoths as a playlist, you'll find a couple dozen. But yeah, I was one of the top 3. But that was why I was just amazed that this video was so popular and the series had started off so popular. In fact, at the moment, my Ostrogoths video is the most highest viewed video on my channel with just about 3,992 views. The thing is though, this was only a month into when I started doing Let's Plays, and my commentary style now wasn't the best. So it very quickly went down. I think the next episode, I got them up here, off screen, so to speak. The second episode, the amount of views dropped down by over a third. So it went down to just over 1,100. Then it dropped again to just over 500. And before you knew it, the average view count was 30 odd views. So thank you guys who've stuck around to watch the Ostrogoths campaign, even doing the turn 30 and 5 and 40s and that. I'm glad you enjoyed it to stick around that long. Thank you. But yeah, I thought it was a highlight just because it was so interesting, fascinating to me looking back. Like most people, if you've started a YouTube channel, unless you've got something very unique that you're very good at, and you really push to try and advertise it in there, most of the time you'll really struggle to try and get your first few subscribers, and then as your channel becomes more popular, eventually it'd be easy to get subscribers. Right, because so many people will be coming up so often, so many people will be talking about it that you will speak it and they will come. So the fact that I had maybe 20, I think I had 15 subscribers, maybe a little bit less at the time, and it shot up a bit because of the amount of people who were watching my Ostrogoths campaign. But yeah, that was just like an amusing high point for me. The second one that sort of came up then was officially Devon. Now, I came across his channel on, I think it was back in about April time, May. And I remember watching it, and I pretty much, the best way to describe it was, I fell in love with it. To be honest, right? The reason why is, to me, I think I might have mentioned this before, but to me, a good game has a good story. I've always loved a good story. I enjoy reading I read dozens of books in a year just because I enjoy good stories. I play games because often the ones I play have good stories. And not all of them obviously have that criteria. For example, Sins of a Solar Empire. That doesn't have a story, a campaign. It has a single player map. You fight against AI factions. And if you want to have a story, you have to design one. You come up with it in your head. And that was the sort of approach some people take when it comes to playing Total War. They don't have a built-in narrative. You have to sort of create your own story of your characters. So when I came across officially Devin's channel, it was to do with I was watching Messiah Tales, and it was before Second Messiah came out, and I found it awesome. This is this guy who's taken one of my favorite game series of all time, a game series not known for having a narrative, and put in a narrative. He made it interesting. It was, and if you've seen his videos or get an idea of them from watching my own narrative Let's Plays, it's better, I think, to have its own story in and and have characters that you actually actively want to listen to and pay attention to. So that really inspired me with my own channel. So I remember watching the Second Messiah, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go myself. So I contacted him, asked him would he be alright, because he is pretty much the father of narrative Let's Plays. So I asked him if he'd be willing to, if he would mind if I sort of took his idea for a narrative Let's Play and used it myself. He said no, it's fine, and let him know when I've done the episode. So at that point, the Phoenix Risers was born. So, and yes, thank you, Devin, for allowing me to do it, and I'm glad you enjoyed the episodes as well. But yeah, the Phoenix Risers was born. Now, to be honest with you, Phoenix Risers wasn't my initial idea. My initial idea was to use Medieval 2, but to do a French campaign. I had this whole idea according to the Flower of Chivalry, and it was going to be about how France was going to try and sort of these ideas of chivalry and virtue, and how they were looked down on the other faction, the other countries, and was going to try and bring this nobility to like the baser factions, so to speak. So that was the original idea, but it kind of lacked something, and I was thinking about it, and I looked over the factions, and I saw the Byzantine Empire. I knew they were like the remnants of the Eastern Romans, still considered themselves Roman. And I thought, you know what? What happens if these guys try to rebuild their empire? And that's where the premise for the Phoenix Risers came from. And to be fair, that's turned out to be the most successful series on my channel. I mean, it hasn't got as many. I mean, the Phoenix Risers episode 1 has got over 2,000 views at the moment, so it's third most popular video, I would say, on my channel. And even though the other videos have only got an average of about 350 odd viewers each, you guys have obviously enjoyed it. I mean, even now, I often get people commenting on the videos saying, Phoenix Risers was awesome. I love what you've done with it. When is the next one coming out? Are you ever going to come back and do it? You need to go back and finish this. So I'm glad so many people enjoyed it, and it's inspired me then to carry on with A Tale of Two Cities and stuff like that. And I'm going to be coming back to this later, so bear with me then, okay? The final thing that sort of was a highlight for me was actually taking part in the core Warhammer Hot Seat campaign. Now, I remember Wise Coffin advertised it quite a few months back, saying that he was going to start it, and I thought it was great. I always wanted myself to take part in a Hot Seat campaign. So my first one I remember was the Teutonic one that Alex the Rambler, Lionheart, and that did. And Wise Coffin as well, if I remember right. And and I liked Warhammer, so I was interested in watching it. And I remember I said to Wise Coffin, I commented on the video and said that if any spare slots come up in the future, I would like to, I hope he might consider me. And I remember a few weeks later he got in touch and said that they decided to expand the amount of players. Would I be interested in playing as the Warriors of Khorne? And I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to. Now, obviously, since that started, it did have a couple of setbacks. Players unfortunately weren't able to continue. So it meant, and the game, I think the first time round, second time round, there was some problems with the gameplay aspect of it. But it's now, as you can tell, it's now continuing. It's got quite a strong team of people competing in it. And yeah, I've been enjoying it immensely since it started. I'm looking forward to sacrificing more souls to the Blood God. Anyway, so yeah, that's all the highlights. The only slight low point I have to admit about my channel was what happened way back in September. Now, for anyone who's joined afterwards, what happened was, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think it just stopped working. Like the computer, it's sort of seized up a bit or something like that, or there was a corruption somewhere. But basically, I had to reformat the computer from scratch and reinstall Windows and everything, which I didn't mind, apart from the fact that it meant I lost a lot of my save files. Now, I keep all my personal documents and all that backed up, so luckily I didn't lose any of them. Or I think I lost a couple of things, but nothing important. But yeah, I lost all the save files, which was sucked in a way, because it meant I couldn't carry on with the Phoenix Risers. I would have loved to have the opportunity almost to finish off the 1 million campaign, because if you saw it, you maybe would understand how much effort I put into it. Like, if you thought my position in the Federation campaign is bad at the moment, you should see what happened with that one. I literally got knocked down to one planet with a starbase and a fleet trying to defend it against hordes of pirates and Borg ships. And I think it carried on like 2.5, 3 hours when I was just fighting off multiple fleets and trying to replenish my fleet and repair it enough to take on the next one. And finally I caught a break, and eventually it led to the fact that I captured all but maybe 4 or 5 systems in the game. So yeah, I was pretty chuffed at that. And even though it turned out to be a grinding match, just slogging my way through, trying to destroy fully upgraded, Borg star bases, it's a shame that I couldn't carry on with it and bring it to a natural conclusion. But that was the low point. But for the most part, I've been pretty happy with the channel so far. So, now that I know I've been rambling on a little bit for the past just over 20 minutes, now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, so yeah, like I said, I'm pretty happy with the channel, and I hope it continues to improve and grow. So, it comes to the next bit, which is 2016, the start of a new year, and a new year for this channel. So, as I go into the second year that this channel is going to be around for, what are my thoughts and what do I want to do with it? Now, the general stuff first. Now, I'm going to continue bringing out games, and I'm going to continue, uploading series and that throughout the year and the years to come, hopefully. But I'm going to try and improve. But the one thing I wanted to try and do, I think, is I actually want to try and start bringing in some new games. In the sense, I mean, games from consoles. Now, the reason why for that is because there's quite a few series on my Xbox and that I would like to do. For example, I got an Xbox 360 and a PS2 at the moment. And I may, when it gets a little bit cheaper, buy a PS4. But that's in the far, far future. I've got bigger priorities. I'd like to get a better graphics card than what I've got on the computer at the moment, for example. But, yeah, there's plenty of games on the Xbox that I would like to be able to play. For example, Mass Effect. I love that series, and I would like to bring the trilogy to my channel. Maybe even incorporate myself, Warrior Angel, as the character, Now, the thing is, I could buy them on the PC, but I've got all the DLC and that already on the Xbox. So if I want to have the full experience, the amount of money it would cost me to try and... I've got Mass Effect 1 and 2, for example. But if I want 3, as well as all the DLC, that's going to be a few quid. And there are other games as well that, by the time I try and buy them for the PC, I might as well just buy a capture card. So I'm going to be doing that. But that's going to be happening in the future, right? So it's still going to be the same style, just with Xbox games and as well as PC. So that's the general thing I wanted to do, and also I would look forward to try and incorporate a bit more of myself in it in terms of vlogs and that. Not entirely sure yet what sort of things I would like to do. I would definitely need to get a better webcam if I'm going to try and do that. Maybe even figure out how to do streaming, like face cam. I'm not sure. I'll see what it goes, but I would like to try and do some more of these vlogs sort of thing, because I've always found them interesting when I watch other players and other YouTubers do it. So yeah, that's the general idea for the upcoming year. More specifics, like what's going to be happening in the short term, because that's the bit I can plan for. There are 3 main changes that's going to be happening with this channel in the upcoming few weeks, and I would say for the next 6 months these are going to be in place. Okay, the first bit is for the Total War narrative, which at the moment is the Tale of Two Cities. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been enjoying the Tale of Two Cities, and it's an idea of mine for a little bit. But I've been thinking about it, and I've looked back on some of the old words, use them. I've been looking back at some of the first few episodes of A Tale of Two Cities and compared them in a way to the Phoenix Risers. And I do feel there's like nothing like stands out, but it's like a spark is there in the Phoenix Risers, which isn't there in A Tale of Two Cities. So I've been giving it some thoughts. And you may or may not be happy to hear this, but the Phoenix Risers is going to be coming back. I'm going to bring the Tale of Two Cities, unfortunately, is not in a position where I could give it an epic finish. But the Phoenix Risers is going to be coming back. I'm going to replace it with that. It's going to start from the beginning. It's going to be with Medieval 2, maybe Stainless Steel again, probably Stainless Steel. And yeah, it's going to have the same premise, the same story, but I'm going to improve on it. I want to make it. I'm going to take the time to make it one of the best narrative Let's Plays I can do. So, I will come back and do the Tale of Two Cities. When I get a better concept for it, I think I will come back. Although I do have other narrative Let's Plays I have in mind to do for Total War thing, but yeah, I would like to come back, even if it's just an opportunity just to do as a normal Let's Play, because I would like to try and check out some of the new units, for example, that the Allens get thanks to the patch update when they've got their overhaul. So I would like to come back and do it in the future. So yeah, there's that thing. So yeah, keep an eye out for that in the future. I'll be explaining a bit more about it in a bit. But yeah, Phoenix Risers coming back. Yep. Second thing is going to be another narrative Let's Play starting on my channel in the future, in the next few weeks anyway. But it's not going to be a Total War one. This is going to be the first ever non-Total War narrative Let's Play that I'm going to do on my channel, and it's for XCOM. Alright, XCOM 2 is coming out next month, and it's in a few weeks. I've already pre-ordered it because it just looks that damn good. And I've seen enough pre-release trailers from people like XP Gamers and even Angry Joe to know it's going to be good. So I've pre-ordered it. But I would like to do a story about it based on the first one, because obviously the first one the events in it happen before what happens in the second one. So I'm going to do a narrative Let's Play for XCOM. I'm still working out the kinks in it, so that's sort of the intentions. For example, at the moment I'm thinking about doing the Long War mod. There might be a few things though, because the main difference is because of the way the mechanics work in the Long War mod, that you'll have a lot more variety of characters, because you can't just pick like one super squad and lead with them for the most part and replace the odd member. Thanks to fatigue and how it works out and that, you need to have like multiple squads, or at least people cycling in and out all the time. So I'm going to have to be if I use the Long War mod, I'm going to have to be aware of having a larger pool of characters to try and use. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the XCOM, and I'm going to make an effort with this, and I've got a few ideas about how to make it so it's going to look good. Not so much the gameplay, but the narrative portion of it that I'm going to introduce is going to be good. So, and yeah, so I hope you guys stick around for that thing. And the third thing is going to be the downer side of this, I'm afraid. As you may or may not know, I'm currently in university at the moment doing my teacher training. And this week, in fact, I've started doing placements. I've been in college, I've been starting to do my observations, and I'll eventually be teaching in the next 2 weeks. So the thing is, I'm going to have a lot of time being used up. I have to be in college, I have to teach, I have to prepare my own lessons, I have to do university work in the meantime, which, to give you an idea about how much I've got to do, I've got roughly 42,000 words of essays, rationales, research projects and that to do in 5 months, on top of everything else. So it's going to be a hectic next few months. Now, what that means though is that because I've got other things I would like to do as well, I've got a life outside YouTube, believe it or not. I've got friends I want to see, I've got other hobbies I like to be able to spend my time doing. So, what's going to happen is I'm actually going to have to I'm going to reduce the amount of videos that I'm doing in a week. So, I'm reducing it from 6 to 4. So, let me tell you how it's going to go. Okay? On the Total War side, at the moment, I've got the Knights of St. John Let's Play, the Tale of Two Cities, and the Crusades campaign for Medieval 2 Crusades, the Byzantine Empire. So what's going to happen is this. The Knights of St. John Let's Play is going to stay, and Tale of Two Cities is of course getting replaced by Phoenix Rises. And the Crusades campaign with the Byzantine Empire, it's near its finish anyway. I think I've got armies in place to try and capture Baghdad, if I remember right. And the only two other places I need to do now once I've eliminated the Turks is to go after Antioch and not Baghdad, Alexandria. So, excuse me. So, I haven't got much to do with that. So what I'm going to do with that series is not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm going to do like an extended episode. It might be an hour or two, or it might even be a bit longer. But it's basically just going to be get it done and dusted. I want to bring that to a finish, so it's finished naturally. And then once that's finished, it's not going to get replaced for the next few months anyway, until I get some free time, perhaps. So that's the definite two things for the Total War side. On the non-Total War side, this is what's going to happen. Max Payne has been finished now. It hasn't, unfortunately, I don't know how, but the save file has been corrupted. So I wasn't able to actually carry on with the campaign, the story where I left off. So, because it was only on its third turn in, I've decided I might as well just delete those episodes. I will be coming back to do Max Payne, right? So don't worry about that. But I will do it in the future. So that's gone. And after thinking about it, I've decided I'm going to finish the Federation campaign. Not to sound thing, I'm going to replace it with XCOM. But it's not to sound thing, but I think I've burnt out a bit when it comes to playing Star Trek Armada 3. And I don't feel like if I stick around to continue playing it, that I'm going to be able to give you a positive experience of it. Not as positive as I would have liked for one of my videos, just because, like I said, I feel a bit burnt out by it by now. You know, I've done a full campaign of it for most of a year, and I've started another one pretty much straight after then, and it's carried on for 11 weeks roughly. So yeah, I just feel a bit burnt out by it, so I would like to, I'm going to finish that and replace it with XCOM. Valkyrie Chronicles is going to stay. I know it's not the most popular series, but I've been enjoying it. So that's going to be played. So what's going to happen for those 4 series now, Knights of St. John, Phoenix Rises, XCOM, and the Valkyrie Chronicles, I'm going to try and release them so they'll be weekly. Now, what's going to happen in that case is that the the Knights of St. John and Valkyrie Chronicles will be continuing next week, as usual. The other 2, I might carry on with the Federation and the Byzantine Empire for a little bit longer until I get everything sorted out ready for the XCOM game and the Phoenix Rises to start up. And now what's going to happen then is the Phoenix Rises and the XCOM one I got is going to be coming out. I'm going to try and keep to a weekly schedule with those two, but because of the amount of extra time it takes to make them, they may be a bit more. They'll come out when they come out, but I will have it with the aim of trying to do it once every week, or at least every week and a half, or something along those lines, okay? I will also be doing like episodic things, like the core Warhammer Hot Seat will be continuing as well, because I can find time for that. As well as that, there is 1 or 2 ideas for like games for non-Total War games, which I would like to, but I could try and do every so often, like, you know, when I get some time. I got a few ideas about games I would like to do for it, such as Deus Ex. I would like to do the Human Revolution, for example, and start off having it so eventually I would do the whole saga, including, for example, the Mankind Divided coming out this year, the original game of Deus Ex, the Invisible War and that thing, or maybe Broken Sword or something. Well, I'll see how it goes, but I got a few ideas to me thing, but those will just be coming out every, irregular at best. So yeah, that's my little discussion about how things have been going with my channel. I'm checking the time now because I've been on YouTube page, so I get the numbers in that way for the videos, and I only just noticed I've actually gone a little bit over than I was intended, about 35 minutes in fact. So yeah, I'm going to bring the episode to an end now. So thank you for spending the time watching. Let me know in the comments, how you felt about my channel. And one thing I would like to know, I've already asked it once before, but I would like to know what sort of drew me into to the channel. What drew you into my channel? What did you like about it to make me want to stick around? Because, yeah, I'm just interested to know what people have given some thought. So, yeah, that's everything I wanted to say. Otherwise, hope you all had a good Christmas and a good New Year. I hope you got everything you wanted from Santa, or you didn't get too drunk. Make sure you keep your New Year's resolutions, and I'll be seeing you in the short future. So thank you for watching, everyone, and shall see you next time. Bye for now.